Hey gang, I'm back. How you doing? Oh, I gotta reset this thing. Sorry about my unplanned hiatus. I happen to have life happens, and so I had things I had to do, and unfortunately I couldn't do the show tomorrow between getting Lady Boomer to and from work and just some other stuff that I have going on. So I apologize for not being here yesterday. And Monday, I was out in northern lake country in the morning, staining a deck. And in the afternoon, till very late at night, I was at the Minnesota State Fair, which is just a blast. I don't know if you live in a state that has a really good state fair, but Minnesota has one of the greatest. And so we're just gonna, that's what I did. And it was Labor Day, and usually I do a Labor Day show. Usually I do shows every day. I do, if it's Monday through Friday, I usually do them, but it is what it is. So anyway, I'm gonna welcome you back. I hope you're welcoming me back. And I see, let me get these, I've already got a few sponsors this morning, which is awesome. Let me get this shit ready. Hang on a second here. So let me get the sponsor real quick, and then we'll go to play the intro. Thank you. First, Teresa the Kid. If you happen to watch this replay, I missed yours on, what was it, Friday, or maybe it was Saturday. Oh no, that was Saturday during the trail stop stream. Thank you, and it's just a super chat with no message. I greatly appreciate that. Also, Jimmy from Philly. Everyone give Jimmy from Philly a hand, because Jimmy from Philly just hit 1,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. I'm sure some of that had to do with the Pac-Man John that they had, and congratulations, my friend. I think a lot of people appreciated where you were coming from there, and I absolutely congratulations on that. And then also thank you, Tall Person on the Streamlabs, and thank you so much. And Tall Person,
you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day,
who says happy Star Trek Day, ya nerds. Well, thank you very much, Tall Person. I am a Star Trek nerd. When I was a kid, my mom and I, especially in the summer, Star Trek reruns played every night at 10 or 10:30 in the evening. So in the summer, I would stay up with my mom, and we'd watch Star Trek reruns all the time. And I've probably seen every episode of the original Star Trek probably 10 times each, because we just loved Star Trek. And even if you see episodes you see over and over, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, most of my day to day is going to be spent on the coof, and then if I get time, I'll go and do a couple other things, our president and other shit like that. But Jimmy's chat has been spicy. Oh, his chat's a trip. I love it, man. Anyway, let's get to the intro and we'll get the show started. So Johnny, play the intro, please. Johnny, wake up.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight.
Alrighty, then stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is Wednesday, hump day. Is it Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday, the 8th of September, 2021. We have a solemn event in a few days, and on that day of a solemn event, I'll be driving to Colorado in a U-Haul because we're moving my son and his girlfriend to Colorado. I get to drive the U-Haul. They get to drive their cars, and Lady Boomer's going to drive with my son and my son's lovely girlfriend. Hopefully, some down in the future fiance, and so on and so forth. We'll be driving her car, and we're all going to drive to Colorado together, between here going through Des Moines and then driving through Nebraska, which it may be one of the all-time boringest drives anywhere in the country. Although it compares to driving across South Dakota and North Dakota and Kansas, because the Plain States, while they are fantastic places to live and raise children, they are boring drives if you're trying to drive across them. But anyway, well, that's what I'll be doing this weekend. And let's see, what else? Anything else? I still have to go back. Programming note. Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, now I'll remind you, I'm not going to have a normal show, right? I'm not going to have a normal show because I got to go finish the deck that we're staining up in northern Wisconsin. So Lady Boomer and I are going to drive up there. Plus, we were driving by, we were up there this weekend. We were at least Sunday and Monday up near Webster, between Webster and Hayward, Wisconsin. And we were driving back, and we saw this sign on the side of the road that said free. Okay, just sign, free. And we go to this, we go off the road, and unfortunately we have my wife's little Lincoln MKX that doesn't have any room in it. And we stop at this place where, like, this lady's just giving away all this really nice furniture. I mean, just getting rid of it, Apparently she was planning on flipping it or something, but it's all really nice stuff. And, some of it's, whatever. So we're like, oh, well, yeah, we'll take that, but I don't have any way to get it there until I get my truck back. Well, fortunately, Monday, I will have my truck back. So I'm excited about that too. We're going to be a 2-vehicle family again. I'm so happy because my truck will be done. Anyway, so we're going to drive the truck. We might even rent a trailer because there's a lot of stuff, and we're going to take it all, and who knows? We'll keep some of it, and we might sell some of it. Whatever. It's free, nothing better than free stuff, right? Anyway, all right, let's get into this show because it's mostly Koof news, and it's just over the weekend, I learned that Joe Rogan apparently got the Koof, right? Got the 19, as I put it, 19 with the TM trademark behind it, right? He got the Koof. No, it's not all stolen stuff. Gosh, gunfuck. Wait, I gotta say good morning. I'm sorry, guys. I always say good morning. Let me do that first. First in the chat today, by the hair of his chinny chin chin, was Selecta Boy. Yeah, and you are first. You get the bell, and welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. Also, good morning, Gunfox61, who is the ever-present and loyal administrator of our Discord server, the PDawgKnight Channel Discord server. Also, good morning, Mike Savage Blarg. Also, good morning, Jonathan Peterson, Advocatus Diablo, the Devil's Advocate. Aaron Meredith, how you doing? Also, good morning to Tall Person, who has already sponsored the show this morning. Tyler F, what's up? Also, good morning to K-Shell's in the house. Road Dogs in the house. Nice to see you. Let's see. I said Tyler F. The Asian Research Directorate is here. Good morning. Also, good morning, Jimmy from Philly, who just got this 1,000 subscriber. So now, Jimmy, you can monetize now. You can take super chats now. You can do all kinds of things when you get 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations again. Also, cutting a huge lawn. He's cutting because you kind of have that. You have a huge lot of that home that you run or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, good morning, Attack Alpaca. Good morning to MC is in the house.
Hammer time.
Also, Special K on Acid, Atheist Icon, Johnny Hellcat, the original viewer of the Morning Night Live. Good morning, Brad Young. You can always stop in Colorado for some smoke. Won't care if the ride is boring. Well, no, that's our destination. That's just it. The destination is Denver. And so Lady Boomer is going to stock up on our those little pills, whatever, the jellies and stuff. That I don't do that stuff. It's not me. Can't do it. Sorry. But you know what I mean. Anyway, also good morning to Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadians in the house. Also, and and Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Is also in the house. So good morning. And also, thank you. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, for sponsoring the show through YouTube Super Chats. who says, FTG, Jimmy, how did you get monetized quicker than PDawgKnight? Maybe it's racist.
That's racist!
That's right.
Okay, well, no, you know what? Sometimes something hits right and it happens, right? And Jimmy had a perfect storm with Dr. K and the very little commentary from David Pakman. And more power to you, my brother. I got to tell you. Thank you, by the way. Thank you, sponsoring the show, Black Hebrew Israelite. And also, good morning. Why are you so happy? Just, you know what? Congratulations. That's awesome. And maybe some of that, just you hanging out with me, Jimmy, some of that'll rub off on me. I don't know. Anyway, I by the way, Jimmy, I don't know if you know, but I think it was on Friday, I spent some time talking about that particular interaction over the internet. And if you didn't catch that, I didn't really talk about the meat of the thing, just the beginning and the end. And I just thought, first of all, I thought Dr. K was pretty fair. He's a fair guy, but he obviously comes from a lens much more near David Pakman's part of the world than ours, I should say, because we're kind of in the same philosophical bent to an extent. And so it was, it was obvious, but I thought he was pretty good at being fair. I just laughed though that how he has this huge blind spot, realizing that when he's talking about people who are entrenched in their ideology, well, he was entrenched in his own ideology. Anyway, so anyway, Nebraska is boring. No joke. The drive is, it's funny because I haven't done that drive since, gosh, when was the last time I drove across Nebraska? That was, okay, this is going to pop up in a second. Yeah, I haven't been done that drive since I think it was about 1991 was the last time I drove to Colorado. I've always flown there since, but this is going to be a drive. And just so you know, there's a super chat that's up here. I'm going to go ahead and read it, even though the music hasn't played. Thank you, Jimmy from Philly, for sponsoring the show again. Greatly appreciated. Who says, why hasn't Black Hebrew Israelites
That's right.
ever donated to me, but he donates to you?
That's racist!
Well, I don't know why that's racist, Jimmy. I'm half white. I'm a African, but so I don't know if that has anything. Well, no. That's right. You know what? You're right. I think it is. It is something that Black Hebrew Israelite and I have in common. Kind of, sort of. I'm not really sure. I never really know. That might just be a name. That might just be a facade. I don't know. All right, let's get into the show because I started a little late and I want to make sure I get at least the ones I already have open here. I have several articles open, mostly about the 19 and issues surrounding it, because there's a whole. Well, I mean, let's put it this way. Let me make a caveat real quick. There is so much news going on. There's so many things going on, and it's kind of funny because, really, I think one thing that our president should be most concerned about are Americans that he may or may not have left stranded in a country with some really backwards people, right? And he's been kind of traveling around the country, trying to take advantage of all the distractions, and really doesn't want to answer a whole lot of questions about the debacle of the withdrawal, and and so but unfortunately, fortunately for him, maybe not so much for those people who are stranded in Afghanistan, there has been a lot of news. They had a hurricane that he's pretending is as bad as Katrina, even though it wasn't. But it's still devastating to people who live there, and they who've lost electricity, lost some things, and it's caused a lot of havoc up the whole entire East Coast. The Joe Rogan thing, I that blew up the other day, at least as far as Twitter is concerned. As far as the social media, just went nuts. And then it's got another hurricane out there brewing that maybe will take some things off him. And then also just, well, even though it's not good news, it's the economy. He's trying to pretend that things are going well, even though they're not. Good morning, Fox P2. And so anyway, and then there's all kinds of other just crazy stuff on that. There's a distraction a day. But I want to go back. I want to go to the Joe Rogan thing, because this fascinated me. I was fairly busy over the weekend. Okay, I don't know if busy is the word. We did some day drinking on Saturday and hung out, and then we did came home and got some things done at the house because we knew we were going to be leaving Sunday to go do a deck. And then, let's see, I saw my daughter. Did I see my daughter? No, she came in the house, dog sat for us. But over the weekend, so Joe Rogan gets the 19, right? And so he goes under a regimen of multiple possible remedies for the 19, and he was feeling really sick on Sunday. And then by Monday, after the several forms of treatment that he partook in, he kind of, as he described it, he threw the kitchen sink at it, right? Just everything that some of it that his doctors recommended. He tried a whole bunch of them, including the one that many people are describing as horse paste. Okay, now, in fact, I'm going to show you, or horse dewormer. And that was kind of the theme on Twitter for much of the weekend, right? Much of the weekend they've been talking about horse dewormer. Okay. And part of it was because, for one, this is CNN, decided that was how they were to describe that certain, I'll just say IV, because apparently I'm not even sure if you're allowed to talk about IV on the show. In fact, I'm just going to type in the chat that stuff right there that I just put in the chat. Okay. I don't know if you're allowed to even talk about it on YouTube right now, but that's one of the things that he took. But he also did monoclonal antibodies. He also did a bunch of like mega dose of vitamin C, all this other stuff. And in one day, he went from to, I feel great. He went and worked out and did, just stuff. So it's not a cure, but it did, his symptoms went away very, very quickly, right? Good morning, Shiagrath. Good morning, Renee Mayette. But all these people on the internet are talking about, oh, he's taking a horse dewormer. In fact, and let me just show you what Twitter is. I did a search for horse dewormer, right? Jimmy Kimmel returns only to find Americans taking horse dewormer. Media, bro. Oh, this is, Rogan went on and, okay, let me go into the article that I wanted to read about this. Real quick. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, for sponsoring the show.
That's right.
Again. And answering Jimmy's question. Well, let me remind you of Jimmy's question. Jimmy's question was, why hasn't Black Hebrew Israelite ever donated to me, but he donates to you? And he finished up with,
That's racist!
well, Black Hebrew Israelite has answered the question with, and thank you for sponsoring the show again. It says, because I will always support the half-black brother with a white wife. Maybe if you get a Streamlabs account, I'll give your WAP ass some money too.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
Whoa, that's not what I meant. I meant to say.
That's right.
Now, Jimmy might have said.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
But I said.
That's right.
There's a difference between.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
And.
That's right.
So there you go. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite. Y'all crack me up. Anyway, horses make good paste, though. Yes. Well, their hooves do. Can't you make some paste? Oh, no, that's glue. Well, glue, paste, whatever. Horses do tend to do that. So anyway, let me go into this article, though. Do I have to sue CNN? I happened to watch this clip, and I would put it on here, but I don't know if I can run the clip on here. And if I don't know how Rogan's podcast, how touchy they are about you playing their clips on live streams. So I'm just going to go with the article here. Do I have to sue CNN? Joe Rogan asked, as he accuses the media giant of making shit up over horse dewormer claims. And oh my God, the people lost their minds on Twitter. I'll go back to it in a second. Podcaster Joe Rogan wondered aloud whether he should sue CNN for allegedly making shit up and claiming the podcaster used horse dewormer when he took IV in his recent battle with Stupid 19. I just, isn't it silly that I have to use code when I talk about this shit? I mean, shouldn't I just be able to say it? I probably can, but I'm not taking chances because YouTube's very touchy. So anyway, he says, well, if it isn't old horseworm Rogan, comedian and podcaster Tom Segura exclaimed at the start of the Joe Rogan podcast in a clip posted on YouTube Tuesday. I'm glad you're well. Do I have to sue CNN? Rogan replied. They're making shit up. They keep saying I'm taking a horse dewormer. I literally got it from a doctor. Yes, the Nobel Prize winning use of a certain IV stuff that he took was actually the human version of it. Because, think about it. I give my dogs... Wait, what the hell's that? Hey, if you want to keep having this fight over super chats, I'll be fine. I'll get to that in just a second. Because so I give my dogs. I have these they're dog treats that have glucosamine in it, right? And so is it every time I take glucosamine, like a human version of glucosamine, am I taking a dog joint medicine, whatever? Just because a product might be used for something other than humans doesn't mean that that's what it is. And IV is a Nobel Prize winning, the guy who came up with the use of it won a Nobel Prize for it. So, okay, let me get to this. Let me get this super chat from Jimmy from Philly. Thank you, Jimmy from Philly, for sponsoring the show again. Who says, Black Hebrew Israelite, Jesus was white.
That's right.
He used your "that's right" for that. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Y'all crack me up. Thank you, Jimmy from Philly, for sponsoring the show again. By the way, if you would like to be a sponsor of the Morning Night Live, remember, you the viewers, you guys watching this nonsense, are the sponsors. You sponsor the show through your generous use of the like button and sharing the stream. And, why did I do that? And sharing the stream and donations here and there, aka actual sponsor stuff, and then also leave a comment in the comment section if you're watching it in a replay, because I'd like to know who dropped in. Anyway, all right, so he goes, Rogan continues, it's an American company, he added. They won the Nobel Prize in 2015 for use in human beings, and CNN is saying I'm taking horse dewormer. They must know that's a lie. The thing is, they absolutely know it's a lie. They know for a fact that he's not taking horse dewormer. Why would he? He had a doctor, he has doctors that have saying take it. Why the hell? It can't hurt you. He says multiple doctors told me to take it. He added before he slammed the outlet for not reporting how he got better afterwards. Yeah, he got better in like 24 hours. His symptoms just went away and no longer tested positive for stupid 19. At one point, the comedian said he also took monoclonal antibodies, the shit they gave former President Donald Trump, after he tested positive positive for coronavirus. The UFC commentator recently revealed he contracted stupid 19 and credited the modern medicine with getting him back to feeling good not long after he shared that he had tested negative for the stupid 19. He also made headlines when he said the vaccine mandates were pushing America one step closer to a dictatorship, which also caused all the usual suspects to lose their fucking minds. So anyway, so let me go. So you go into this horse dewormer, and now granted, some of these people, now by this point, this is where people are pushing back with all the people who are calling it a horse dewormer. So like this Glenn Klippenstein or Stein or whatever says, when you call ivermectin a horse dewormer, you're erasing the many thousands of people who depend on that drug for things like shitting out their intestinal lining. Okay, this is another one of those guys who, you know what's funny about this dipshit who wrote this? In much of African Asia, ivermectin and that other stuff. Remember that other stuff that they were bitching about, the hydrochloroquine? Those are vital medicines in much of the third world, especially in tropical climates where you tend to get, parasite infections and also like, hydrochloroquines for malaria, right? They're pretty much over-the-counter drugs, and you just have to be careful not to take too high of a dosage. And so these people are just like, they're, I gotta get to the hospital story too. They are so entrenched. They are so entrenched in this being an ideological thing that they can't accept the fact that some doctors are actually trying it for things. And whether I don't recommend taking either of them. I don't recommend you taking anything without the consent of a doctor. But they're just out here making shit up about it, saying that, oh yeah, they went over there and got some horse paste because it has some use in some livestock and things like that. Not what he's taking. Prescribed by a doctor. Human usage. Here, let's see. This one, Joe, like this. Who's this hoe? She has 187,000 followers. Let me just read her bio real quick. Her name is JoJo from Jersey. Or Jers. She says, Jersey, Democrat, news junkie, lover of puns, Lebanese, hothead, mom, geek, blocked by Chachi. Oh, probably Scott Baio. So she says, Joe Rogan, hero of the everyman bro. Now she's using that as an insult, right? Hi, Kessler. How you doing? Hero of the everyman bro is worth around $100 million. He has access to the best doctors, the best medical treatments, and the best medicines in the world. But he needs his fans to believe he was cured by horse dewormer because that's the brand. Now, that's bullshit. That's not what he said. And in fact, he didn't say horse dewormer. And not only did he not say horse dewormer, he did not even recommend that anyone does what he does. He gave a list of things that the doctors tried and whatever it took, and he included the monoclonal antibodies, the high doses of certain types of vitamins, vitamin C and some other shit. He said he took they threw the kitchen sink at it, right? He didn't recommend anyone does what he does, but as we know, we'll talk about that in a second. The monoclonal antibodies is a thing that we're not hearing enough about. That has been doing very well. Also, there's a nasal spray that's coming out that they're hoping that will help prevent and/or treat the stupid. But a lot of these people out here again, voluntary inquisition. Maybe if we stop denying the human dose, there wouldn't be such a to-do about horse dewormer. True. CVS is refusing to fill prescriptions of ivermectin, just like that. This is hilarious. If a doctor prescribes it, are they going to not do it? Jimmy Kimmel, I leave you people alone for 2 months and you start taking horseworm medicine. Y'all, you guys are fucking, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And I think Joe Rogan should sue CNN because clearly there's a difference between a horse dewormer medicine and what he took, what the doctor that he prescribed took, what several doctors are recommending. Even though, now granted, and it may or may not work, and I'm not recommending it. YouTube, shut up. I'm not recommending it. But y'all are just lying. Just flat out lying about it. So anyway, here's an article in the Federalist. Corrupt corporate media, then that's redundant. Corrupt corporate media, again, that's redundant, spreads disinformation on IV patients overwhelming a hospital. Now remember, I don't know if you saw this story over the weekend. So Rolling Stone published this article. Well, I'll just start here. I read this article, Rolling Stone. It was bullshit. Anyway, over the weekend, the magazine Rolling Stone published an article with a shocking claim. A hospital in Oklahoma was so overwhelmed with patients injured from self-treating cases of stupid 19 with the horse dewormer ivermectin that gunshot victims were having to wait for emergency treatment. A photo paired with the article showed a line of people waiting, presumably for the entrance to the overrun hospital. Now, before I even continue, can I just show you something? Let me show you something. Let me show you something, brothers and sisters. Granted, now what state did they say this was in? Oklahoma. Oklahoma, where the wind goes raining down the trail. Come on, load. Now, Oklahoma. Remember again. Oklahoma, where the wind goes down the trail. I want you to show you this. I got to show you this. Oh, they changed it. They changed it. So, they changed the caption. Hang on. Let me see if I can find it somewhere else because this is not loading for crap. Let me just get rid of this. I'll find it in my profile because I answered this question. I had notifications. Here we go. Let's see here. Right here. Here's the picture. So this is the picture that accompanied the Rolling Stone article that says gunshot victims left waiting as horse dewormer overdoses overwhelm Oklahoma hospitals, doctors say. Now look at this picture. Do you see anything wrong with this picture? What state is this in? What state is this in? Oklahoma, where the wind goes trailing down the trail. I don't even know the song's name. How many people in the middle of August or end of August or even early September in Oklahoma are wearing parkas and warm coats and are just... Do you know what the weather in Oklahoma is right now? It's hot in Oklahoma this time of year. These people are wearing coats. This good woman's got her hands in her pockets. This one's wearing a parka with one of those fuzzy hood things like you'd wear. Well, yeah, like in Alaska, special can acid. This is the picture that accompanied the article. Freaking Oklahoma, and this was dumbest country in the universe. Anyway, so that's the picture. The article quickly made the rounds among corporate press and lefty pundits. Rachel Maddow's official Twitter account with 10.5 million followers blasted out the interview with Dr. Jason McEllier discussing the issue, which was the basis for Rolling Stone's coverage. Not so fast. One little problem. Black people yes, there are black people in Oklahoma, at least in Tulsa, because isn't that where that dude that left his car in the middle of the road got ended by the female police officer? Anyway, hello Luna, how you doing? So the problem, as much of the hysteria media spin these days, the story, the headline, and the photo we're all, frankly,
Bullshit.
BS.
Bullshit.
The entire story was based around the claim of a single source, Dr. Jason McElliey, who, it turned out, hadn't worked at the hospital for 2 months. The magazine issued a correction, which in a sane world would have been a full retraction. The update included a statement from Northeastern Hospital Systems Sequoia, a regional healthcare provider in Oklahoma. Here's the update that the Rolling Stone put out. Update. Northeastern Hospital System Sequoia issued a statement. Although Dr. Jason McElliey is not an employee of NHS Sequoia, he is affiliated with a medical staffing group that provides coverage for our emergency room. With that said, Dr. McElliey has not worked at our Sallisaw location for over 2 months. NHS Sequoia has not treated any patients due to complications related to taking ivermectin. All patients who have visited, this includes not treating any patients for ivermectin overdose. All patients who have visited our emergency room have received medical attention as appropriate. Our hospital has not had to turn any patients away seeking emergency care. We want to reassure our community that our staff is working hard to provide quality healthcare to all patients. We appreciate the opportunity to clarify this issue, and as always, we value our community support. This article is still up. Look at that. Here's how. Now look again. That's the update. Look at this. But the headline: gunshot victims left waiting as horse dewormer overdoses overwhelm Oklahoma hospitals. Doctor says the ERs are so backed up that gunshot victims were having hard times getting to facilities where they can get definitive care and be treated, according to Dr. Jason McElliey. Lying. And then the update is not even the update's not even at the top of the story. This is the top of the story. Where's the update? Oh, they don't even have it on here. Okay, now I went to this is on the website. The update's not even on here. Where's the update? It's not even on their website. It's probably, who knows where it is. Anyway, so in summary, the whole story was fake. The community was needlessly terrified. A good portion of the country was led to believe that stupid people, e.g. Republicans, were ingesting horse dewormer, e.g. a widely just prescribed anti-parasitic. The doctors who pioneered its use to treat parasitic infections in humans were awarded the Nobel Prize in 2015. And the hospital had to waste resources responding to a manufactured PR storm. But, on the Twitters, it was everywhere. Look at this. Here's Glenn Greenwald. Well, Glenn Greenwald was one of the ones who debunked it. But even the people replying to Glenn Greenwald are still ripping people about this. I'm sure you're highlighting this one specific claim to avoid talking about people are actually purchasing, consuming medicine that's meant for farm animals and getting sick and pooping everywhere. But that wouldn't jive with this contrarian performance that you are doing. Fuck you. It's just, it's incredible. Now this is the human version of this. Oh, people are getting sick from ivermectin, though. They simply are overwhelming hospitals over at least one claim that there was wrong. As a journalist, you might understand the difference. Yeah, whatever. So anyway, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Who says, and via Streamlabs, who says, now, oh, by the way, Black Hebrew Israelite.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Thank you for going through Streamlabs. I appreciate that. Because, you don't want to give your 30% to Susan. Come on now. Anyway, now you've done it, Jimmy. In the Bible, Revelations 1-14, it says Jesus had dark skin and woolly hair.
You're lying. That's right.
Jesus was not white.
That's right.
Even Billy Graham says that. There's a clip. I have to find it. Because Billy Graham was like, yeah, he's I think he was in Africa preaching, and he had one of his giant revivals, and he's talking about, Jesus wasn't white, Jesus wasn't Asian. He said Jesus looked like the people who lived in that area in the Middle East during the time and whatever, and so he had brown skin and blah blah blah. But whatever, who cares? It doesn't matter what color Jesus is. It really doesn't. In fact, if you go to Asia, Christians and Asians make Jesus look Asian. And if you go to Africa, many of the Christian churches there have Jesus looking more African. But he's from the Middle East and whatever. He looked like the Middle Eastern person. Probably looked a lot like the current the Jews and Palestinians of the area. And he said he had woolly hair. So whatever. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite. All right, back to this. So anyway, the people responding to this just ripping them. All right, let me move on though. So I'll leave that Rolling Stone article up too, because it's almost embarrassing that. But also the government and the CDC are lying about the vaccine, the 19 stabs and juice, Fauci juice, and the IV. They're lying about them because there are doctors who are recommending it. Real quick, wait, what happened here? Oh. And the war continues, the flame war. Thank you, Jimmy from Philly. Appreciate you. Who says, Black Hebrew Israelite only tip $2. My white privilege is showing. Okay, or not showing. You mean it's slowing, Jimmy? See, here's the thing. The Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day is only available to someone who donates through Streamlabs. But I do absolutely appreciate your continued support and sponsorship of the show. Thank you, Jimmy from Philly. Very greatly appreciated. And Black Hebrew was right. Thank you too. And if anyone else wants to jump in on this, I'm all good with that because, we've got a $7,000 car bill. Anyway, all right. It's been quite a week. This is, who is this writing? Wayne Allen Root. Wayne Allen Root can be a little bit out there sometime, but he says the government and the CDC are lying about the stupid 19 stabs and the IV. The question is why? It's been quite a week. I've been in media business for decades, and I've never before witnessed such lies, exaggerations, and outright fraud. All of this with the intent to force everyone to get the stab. The question is, why? That's a very good question, Wayne. That's a very good question. Let's start with the vaccine itself. The results in Israel prove what a sham, charade, and fraud that all is. This is not my opinion. This is Wayne Allen Root's, and I might not read this whole article. The U.S. government and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention argue that the stab is our only chance for survival, and that people are hospitalized and dying with the 19 because they are unvaccinated. Oh, you dirty people. Both arguments are pure fraud. Now, you know what's funny too? I've been thinking about this because I, as a survivor of the 19, I'm a survivor. You notice they talk a lot about, the unclean, the unstabbed. They're really making a big deal about, all these people that are unstabbed are getting the 19 and that's the surge, whatever. But there's a lot of people who've got the jabs, the stab, the juice, the punch, whatever, who are also getting it. But you notice, one thing you're not hearing a lot about? Us survivors. You ever hear about us survivors getting it again? Anybody? You would think if there were even a dozen across the entire span of our country, that would be all you'd be hearing about. Because you're sure talking about kids getting it, and I'm still not hearing. I get a lot of cases, but still not hearing about, kids being ended by it. A lot of cases though, but not endings. But I don't even hear about cases when it comes to people who are already survivors. Anybody heard any of that? Not me. I haven't heard it, and I've been watching for. I've been waiting for them, because they're so jacked up on having everyone get the jab. But I've already had it, and there are multiple studies, which they're not talking about, saying that if you've had it, especially in mild cases or medium to moderate cases of it, that your antibodies probably are going to protect you. In fact, they're protecting you from the Della Reese, from the I had another name for it, but anyway, the Del Curry. Saving you from the Del Curry. Now, again, there's the Omega Mu version that's coming around, but and apparently they think that nothing's going to save you from the Omega Mu version. But I haven't heard much about the survivors yet, the unclean survivors. The code is getting harder and harder. The unclean survivors. This guy getting it again. So I don't know. Anyway. All right. All right, let me finish this real quick. Thank you, Jimmy from Philly. Blackie. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Black Hebrew Israelite. Throwing down the gauntlet with the double decade. Thank you, sir. Who says, okay, Jimmy, use your white privilege to top this donation. Oh, no. And you already are this, but I'm going to put it again.
Superstar sponsor of the day.
Yeah, he threw down hang on a second. Let me get my wallet out. I got to figure. I always forget. Is this do I even have one? I do. He threw down a Jackson. Thank you for the Jackson, Black Hebrew Israelite. And also, good morning, Random American. Okay, let me try to get through one article. I'm gonna go back to the where I started. Let's start with the stab itself. The results in Israel proved it was a sham. What a charade and fraud that is. The U.S. government and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention argue that the stab is our only chance to survive, and that people are hospitalized and dying with the 19 because they are unclean. You following me here? You unclean versus clean, like stabbed versus unstabbed. Both arguments are pure fraud. First, are you aware that anyone who dies within 14 days of getting stabbed is considered unstabbed or unclean? No wonder they claim everyone who is dying is unstabbed. If you die from stupid 19, whether you're stabbed or unstabbed, they just call you unstabbed. If a business person in the private sector tried that scam, they'd spend the next 20 years in prison for fraud. Yeah, so what they're doing, they're people who are getting the jab. Now, again, they say, the jab doesn't take effect for 14 days. But do we know that the people who are dying within 14 days of the jab aren't dying from the jab? I don't know if we know that or not. Real quick, thank you, Renee Mayette. My dear, thank you very much for through YouTube Super Chat, who says, Jesus was a well-known queer activist holding protests in the desert with multiple men and healing whores by doing their hair and giving pedicures. Revelations is just a feminist manifesto. That was spectacular. Oh, goodness gracious. Thank you, Renee, for the almost 10 through YouTube Super Chat. I love it. Anyway, the CDC has also been using stats of stupid 19 deaths going back to January to make the claim that the endings are almost exclusively among the unclean. Are you I hope you're following me here. You'll understand the code eventually. That's because earlier in the year, almost everyone was unclean. That's called rigging the numbers. The CDC must be using the same Democrats who rigged and stole the... Oh my God. I don't know if I can say that either. How do I describe this? The last time that people put ballots in the mail. They stole the last time they put ballots in the mail. Worst of all, the media has blacked out the developing disaster in Israel. Israel is the most the most stabbed country in the world. They all got the pizzer stab. God, this is difficult. At first, death and hospitalization went to almost zero. Israel declared victory over the 19. But everything changed. Today, a massive 19 outbreak has engulfed the stabbed in Israel. Hospitals are full. People are dying at this moment. Israel is the most stabbed nation in the world, has more 19 cases per capita than anywhere in the world. At this moment, 0.2% of the entire population of Israel is catching 19 each day. This past week was the worst week for 19 in Israel ever. Israel is setting records for stabbed people in the hospital. Deaths are skyrocketing. It's so bad. No mask, no lockdown. Sweden has just banned travelers from Israel. Many EU countries are following suit. What's interesting too is Sweden. There are 19 deaths are almost non-existent right now. It's like the one country that's not having this swell of people get it. Now, I don't know their stab status in Sweden, but remember, Sweden's the country that didn't lock down. Then they got a lot of, for lack of a better term, they got a lot of shit about it from a lot of other nations, and the Americans were, especially American media, see, Sweden, this, Sweden, that, Sweden, this, you can't use Sweden as an example. Well, right now they have like almost no 19 deaths happening. Anyway, the stab isn't just failing, it's a spectacular fail. It wore off, it no longer works. And just as my holistic doctor friends predicted, it makes the next wave far worse. These doctors say stab people are far more contagious, they carry heavier viral loads, and are far more susceptible to getting severe illnesses than someone with, I'm afraid to use this, I'm going to say acquired resistance as opposed to NA, natural immunity. This experiment with an experimental emergency use only stab is a great big failure, a dangerous and deadly failure. But at this very moment, Biden, the CDC, and the U.S. media are pushing the stab mandates and stab passports harder than ever. The question is why? Thank you, Jimmy from Philly, with the deuce +1, who says, "Who the king now?" Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you very much. Well, no, Jimmy, I'm sorry, but the deuce had an extra 0 on it when Black Hebrew Israelite. So he's, as you can see at the top, he's at 2201. So or 22 something there. So I appreciate you, Jimmy. And y'all don't have to have a flame war on this, okay? I appreciate the sponsorship, but yeah, no, it says right there at the top who's where. But anyway, it goes by cumulative, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Why is America forcing everyone to get stabbed so important at this exact moment? Israel proves the stab they're pushing is a dramatic and dangerous and deadly failure. And it's not just Israel. In the UK, a majority of the 19 deaths last month were among the stabbed, the clean, or so to speak. And the UK death rate from the 19 today is dramatically higher than a year ago when there was no stab. Separate from all that, the VAERS stab reporting system reports the stab itself is causing tremendous rates of death and crippling injuries. So stabbed Americans are dying and becoming severely sick from the stab, in addition to dying and becoming severely sick from 19 after getting the stab. And none of this is featured in the news. It's a total media blackout. Worse yet, the same government, CDC, and media are trying desperately to denigrate and slander the how can I use? I don't want to get in trouble with this. Okay. They are trying to slander the other thing, or force-based, that is most successful in treating the 19. It's called IV. In my next column, I'll show you conclusive proof from around the world that IV is miraculously effective. Okay, so this article will be in the tab down below, the link that I'll put in the description immediately after the show. I'm going to move on because I can't, I'm not going to make any claims on behalf of Wayne Allen Root, but here is one highly effective COVID treatment that you're not hearing about from the administration. And it's doing great work in some of these states that are promoting it, particularly Florida, but they don't want to tell you about Florida because they hate Florida because it's Ron DeSantis and he's Republican, and then Republicans are dirty, evil, bastards. But anyway, the highly effective COVID treatment Joe Biden isn't telling you about, as opposed to the stab. There's a free is a very unusual term they're using here. It's somebody's paying for this shit. Anyway, there's a free, highly effective treatment for Americans who contract the 19 and its variants that could immediately relieve hospitals and slow the pandemic. But President Joe Biden has been tight-lipped about the life-saving care. I am only reading someone else's claims. YouTube, do not ban me, please. Monoclonal okay, I got to come up with a word for this now because if you say these things and YouTube catches you, you got to be careful. So I'm just going to say the moo for from now on it'll be the moo. Monoclonal antibody treatment is now the moo. Okay, everyone got that? The moo. In fact, I'm going to type that in the chat. The moo. Okay, the moo. That's my whenever I say that, monoclonal antibody treatments. The moo has been found to reduce hospitalization and death from the 19 by a stunning 70%, with almost no side effects based on preliminary findings in recent studies. There's a Washington Post article, which I'll have to do here, let's do an archive of this. We'll copy AR, and there we go. It's probably already, I'm going to guess. Yes, it was 2 weeks ago. Okay, that's from 2 weeks ago. It's also been shown to shorten the duration of symptoms by 4 days. Now, this is one of the treatments that Joe Rogan got, the moo. Okay, no, the moo. I'm doing it. I'm going to spell it. I suppose I could spell it M-U-M-U like you are, but you're doing M-U-U. Anyway, the moo. It's also one of the treatments Joe Rogan got. Yet awareness of this treatment is abysmal. And that's in large part due to the efforts or lack of effort from Biden administration, most notably the president himself. You likely first heard of such treatment from former President Donald Trump, who famously had the antibody infusion when he was infected with the 19 and made a quick turnaround. At the time, the treatment was not yet available to the public, and the media bashed Trump for calling the treatment a cure. Since then, the treatment has been authorized for public use and has been widely praised by many doctors. Oh, I think I can talk about the moo, but I'm going to say the moo anyway, because. Was Candace in there? Oh my God, Candace, stop it. Okay. I always have to yell, get off my screen, Candace. Oh, there she is again. Oh, you can't see her because I didn't scroll that far. Anyway, at the time, the treatment was not yet available to the public, and the media bashed Trump for calling the treatment a cure. Since then, the treatment has been authorized for public use and has been widely praised by many doctors, patients, and public health officials, including some from the federal government. Oh, well, isn't that special? But the word of the treatment and its availability, which you can view here. Let's see, I'll open that up too for you. All these links I'll just open up and have them in the, in the description, is just not getting out fast enough. Here's what you need to know. What is monoclonal antibody treatment? This isn't approved to treatment, YouTube. The antibody treatment is essentially an infusion of supplemental antibodies that help your body fight off the 19 and fast, according to medical experts. University of Alabama at Birmingham professor Turner Overton explained it this way, quote, your immune system takes 2 to 3 weeks to make good antibodies, but monoclonal antibodies are supplemental antibodies that can be administered early in the course of infection, the first 10 days after symptoms commence, to rapidly bind and kill the stupid 19 virus. Medical experts suggest that the treatment should be given to 19 patients during the first 10 days of symptoms. Health officials have emphasized that the stab is still the best option for Americans in reducing the patient's chances of hospitalization and endings. The monoclonal antibodies are not as durable as the stab, Dr. Overton said. The stab trains a healthy immune system to protect from a future infection. Well, we're kind of finding out maybe it's not actually doing that, Doc. I'm just saying. Anyway, this is the golden goose, okay? This is what we need. We've got a short window to get these people treated, said Dr. David Thrasher, a pulmonologist from Alabama. I'm from Greenwald, Alabama. Anyway, this is the only thing Stupid 19 that I've seen is not controversial. Well, good. If it's not controversial, then ramp up the usage. You know, I got a feeling too. So, I know, and you can read the rest of the article on your own. I got a feeling that I remember back when I got a feeling that back when we were starting to do this whole Stupid 19 thing, that they were asking people to give blood, right? People who had it, because the antibodies in their blood probably is used to develop the monoclonal antibodies. I don't know how that works completely, but anyway. Thank you, Jimmy from Philly, who has taken it to a new level. Jimmy from Philly.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Thank you so much, Jimmy from Philly. I appreciate that. You are, he says, I own Black Hebrew Israelite by putting in a Hamilton. So there we go. All right. So, can I hang on a second? Okay. I need to, okay, but
I'm saying, excuse me.
Okay. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. Had to make a decision on something immediately. So, all right, let's just move on. So I do have the articles about the about where you can get the therapeutics for the monoclonal antibodies. Also, here's the Washington Post article from 2 weeks ago. And again, this is kind of crazy too, because it's saying, this is 2 weeks ago, monoclonal antibodies are free and effective against the 19, but few people are getting them. Why? Well, maybe if the president of the United States would open his yap. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't even have these on the screen. If he'd open his yap, maybe more people would know about this. And, especially some of the people who are, who are getting the jab. By the way, let me go back to Jimmy here. Yes, Jimmy from Philly. Yes, Jimmy from Philly. You own him. Because Jimmy from Philly, again, I'll remind you.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
All right. Now, while we're on the subject, and I guess this is going to be the only subject today. I'm not going to get into the other stuff. It's all going to be about the 19 because I got to get caught up on this stuff. And as you might have heard, Dr. Fauci lied. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the greatest scientific mind in the history of the United States and maybe perhaps the world, the greatest doctor and knows all, the doctor who said, you know what, you need to, they wanted you to wear masks to protect you from AIDS. Yes, that Dr. Anthony Fauci, we're pretty sure he lied to Congress. He lied to Dr. Rand Paul, at least, when Dr. Rand Paul was questioning him. And because we know now that there is new evidence that the National Institute of Health was funding the country of origin that shall not be named.
China is asshole.
And their research on gain of function. Well, gain of function research. New details to emerge surrounding Dr. Anthony Fauci's National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID, grant approval for high-risk experiments overseas contradicts the agency director's repeated denials under oath about whether the NIAID had funded gain-of-function research. On Monday, The Intercept reported findings from 900 pages of material released from an active Freedom of Information Act lawsuit that details the work of the New York-based nonprofit EcoHealth Alliance with the National Institute of Health. The trove of documents, according to The Intercept, uncovered new specifics into a pair of grant proposals that received U.S. tax dollars from Fauci's NIAID. While the existence of the first grant awarded to EcoHealth Alliance, understanding of risk of bat coronavirus emergence had already been reported and used to challenge Dr. Fauci for, I'm just going to say NIAID, funding for gain-of-function research. Documents from The Intercept expanded the public scope of the research conducted in Wuhan beyond bats. The annual grant of roughly $600,000 ran from 2014 to 2019. For the first 3 years of the grant, funding for gain-of-function research, wherein scientists extract viruses from the wild and engineer them to infect humans to study potential therapeutics such as stabs and Fauci juice, was banned. Richard Elbright, a molecular biologist at Rutgers University, explained to The Intercept that viruses they constructed were tested for their ability to infect mice that were engineered to display human-type receptors on their cell. There were also 2 different types of novel coronavirus, Elbright said, that the documents made clear could infect humanized mice. While they were working on SARS-related coronavirus, they were carrying out a parallel project at the same time on Middle East respiratory syndrome, aka MERS-related coronavirus. The bat coronavirus study, supported with taxpayer dollars through EcoHealth in an apparent effort to circumvent the U.S. moratorium on gain-of-function research, began to make headlines early this year as the pandemic waned in the sunset of effective stabs. The research conducted in Wuhan, the site that of the first stupid 19 outbreak, has long drawn scrutiny as likely spawning the virus that infected more than 220 million people worldwide, in a theory first dismissed as a conspiracy by the political establishment until this summer. So Rand Paul raked Dr. Fauci over the coals, and now there is ample evidence that everything that Fauci said was a complete and utter lie. Now, let me go down here, because I'm not going to do the exchanges with Rand Paul. Those are pretty famous. There was this thing down here with Nicole Wallace, though. Here it is. When Fauci's emails became public, the political doctor's first interview was given to MSNBC, where he was showered with praise by the network's Nicole Wallace. And remember this exchange? This is almost embarrassing. Listen to Nicole Wallace. You know what? I bet he has oh God, I can't say this. I bet he has the cleanest taint in town.
And just on this point of your public profile, I read through your emails that were released, and I just want to read one of them. There were a lot of inquiries about your public profile. I mean, this very conversation was much harder to have under the ex-president. And this was your response to one about whether or not you'd have a press conference. You wrote, "Yikes, that would make 4 days in a row without a press conference for me, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and tomorrow." I wonder if you feel like you're still making up some of that lost ground from many months under the last administration of not just no information, but disinformation being out there.
Remember when that pissed me off. What do you mean no information? They had a fucking press conference every freaking day. And he spoke. He himself spoke. They didn't have disinformation or no information. They talked their heads off. And he became a star because of it. That's why everyone praises him. And, Dr. Fauci, they're having, I mean, I'm surprised they haven't had, well, there are Fauci dolls. There's Fauci bobbleheads. Oh my God, no information.
You still see some hardness among his supporters around the vaccine or around some of these messages you're sharing with us today.
Yeah, the vaccines are sort of...
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that there are people out there who, for one reason or other, resent me for what I did in the last administration, which was not anything that was anti-Trump at all. It was just trying to get the right information, to try and get the right data. And what they...
15 days to slow the spread.
Didn't seem to understand. I guess that's understandable. That they didn't understand it.
They didn't understand. I just didn't understand. To all you kids across the land. If you know the reference, write the next line.
Science is a dynamic process. So something that in January, you make a recommendation or like
you knew in January that you were doing gain-of-function research in that country that shall not be named?
China is asshole.
Comment about it. But as you get more and more information, the information leads you to change, because that's what science is. It's a self-correcting process.
Self-correcting.
So when you hear someone say something at one point, and then 2 or 3 months later, if you stick with what you said at the original time when you had 1/5 the amount of data.
Oh, you mean like lockdowns work? Oh, yeah.
That you have now, I think that would be inappropriate. It's appropriate, although sometimes it's difficult for people to understand.
Now, wait till you hear. Remember when Nicole Wallace said this? Listen to this, what she says.
How as you learn more and more,
here it comes.
You've got to continue to evolve.
Advocatus Diablo, you're the winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Yes. Well done, Avocados Diablo. Parents just don't understand.
With the data. And that's what I was trying to do, is to always tell the truth on the basis of what the...
Always tell the truth? Oh, like about gain-of-function research that we funded? Always tell the truth, Dr. Fauci. Always. Oh, you're so special. By the way, good morning, Fight for Your Rights. I just saw you up there. All right.
Data is,
listen to Nicole Wallace's next
something
line.
Against the president. In fact, You spoke about my emails. You look at my emails, I never in the email said anything derogatory about President Trump.
Here it is. Listen carefully. Listen carefully. And try. Oh, by the way, swallow whatever you just sipped and try to keep it down when she says this.
Well, the true mark of someone is if they look good, even when their personal emails come out. So you passed the test that very few of us would pass. Dr. Anthony Fauci,
Oh, eat the corn out of my feces, please, Nicole Wallace. These jackasses. All right. Since I only have a few minutes left, I'm going to stick with these last few. Just a couple things that are ironic, because there's some other news about the stupid that you may or may not have heard yet. Top Wuhan lab theory denier reverses stance, reveals he knew of the virus weeks in advance. What? Dr. Ian Lupkin, an American virologist who once claimed there was no evidence that the 19 could have come from the Wuhan Institute of Virology, appeared to reverse his premature stance on the origin of the 19 in a new interview. Quote, if they've got hundreds of bat samples that are coming in and some of them aren't characterized, how would they know whether this virus was or wasn't in this lab? What? Weren't you the guy that said that lab theory was not a chance? Anyway, Lipkin asked in reference to the Wuhan Institute of Virology in June before answering, they wouldn't. That's what he said then. They wouldn't. See, they wouldn't. There's no way. The unearthed comments come amidst Lipkin revealing he was informed of a new outbreak in Wuhan on December 15th, 2019 in Spike Lee's documentary miniseries, NYC Epicenters. The mid-December date, which Lipkin defends when pressed by the interviewer, is at odds with the Chinese Communist Party Public 19 timeline, first informing the World Health Organization of an outbreak on December 31st. Yes, December 15th is before December 31st. The National Post has previously exposed Lipkin's ties to the Chinese Communist Party, including the Columbia professor receiving awards and consultancy positions from the regime. Lipkin was heavily quoted by mainstream media outlets including CBS and USA Today, in an effort to debunk the former Center for Disease Control Prevention's chief, Dr. Robert Redfield's explosive claim linking the virus to a Chinese lab.
China is asshole.
We should be moving away from finger pointing, Lipkin said, or told CBS, after adding, there is no evidence to suggest that it was created in a lab. Now, that sounds like some very careful wording to me. There was no suggestion it was created in a lab. Huh. Is that the thing that people have been saying? Now some people had that conspiracy theory that maybe it was created in a lab, but I think most of them were saying that it leaked from the lab. Notice he didn't say there's no evidence that suggests that it was not leaked from the lab, just created in the lab. Anyway, now here's some stupid about the stupid. Rutgers University. Wait till you hear this. Rutgers University has barred unvaccinated students from virtual classes I'm going to read that again. Rutgers University bars unvaccinated students from virtual classes. Rutgers University is barring students from virtual classes because of a student from virtual classes because he is unvaccinated, according to NewJersey.com. The New Jersey University locked Logan Holler out of his school email and account in August when he tried to pay his tuition. The 22-year-old college senior said he has not been vaccinated and doesn't intend to be, so he signed up for only virtual classes in the fall. When he called the school's stab hotline after being locked out, he was told he had to be stabbed even if his classes were all remote. He has since missed the first week of classes. I feel a lawsuit coming on. When they put out the guidance in March, I was reading through all the verbiage, which was, if you plan to return to campus, you need to be stabbed, Holler said. I figured I wouldn't be part of that because all my classes were remote. Rutgers was the first university in the nation to require student vaccinations, but still does not mandate them for remote degree programs. Even though Holler attends only virtual classes, he is not part of a remote degree program. I'm not in an at-risk age group. I'm healthy and I work out. I don't find stupid to be scary. Holler said, if someone wants to be stabbed, that's fine with me, but I don't think they should be pushed. Holler's stepfather, Keith Williams, who is his stab, said he was dumbfounded by the university's decision to lock his stepson out of his account. Okay, I know it's not Thursday, but FTG Rutgers. Just can't. Can you believe that? Okay, remote only classes. He's taking nothing but virtual classes, and they're requiring him to be vaccinated. There's some logic missing. All right, I got a couple more things like this. In the Arizona, the Attorney General deems that this is kind of, maybe this may be kind of good news. The Arizona Attorney General deems Tucson vaccine mandate a violation of law, demands them to reverse it. Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich has determined that Tucson's ordinance requiring city workers to get stabbed for the Chinese AIDS violates state laws and is in direct conflict with Governor Doug Ducey's executive order. As such, his office is ordering the city to rescind or amend the order or risk losing millions of dollars in state funding, officials announced Tuesday. What really annoys me about all this is kind of just becoming a political war, and not about science and not about the vaccines, not about masks, because the science behind the mask is the complete opposite of what most people are going to tell you. And there's multiple studies. Now the stabs, look at Israel, the most stabbed nation in the world, right? I don't know. I think the variations are due to the stabs. I'm telling you. And now and they're going to start talking about the Mu variant, the Omega Mu, the Omega Mu variant. I don't know. That's just crazy. Anyway, he said, we have found that the city's ordinance violates state law and also is in direct conflict with the governor's executive orders. Officials at the state attorney general office told reporters Tuesday afternoon. Officials informed the city that it must rescind or amend its ordinance or lose millions of dollars in state funding, according to officials. In a statement on Tuesday, Brnovich called Tucson's stab mandate illegal. So that's a ray of hope in a way. I want people who are vulnerable to be vaccinated. Okay. But there still is a kind of a civil liberty aspect to it. What were Lady Boomer and I were listening yesterday to something coming home where it's like, we were listening to Rakita Media, Rakita Law. He's from St. Cloud, Minnesota. And he's a lawyer on the internet. You probably heard of him. And he was talking about how there's this big fight between safety and liberty, and that's kind of where this is coming. When there's a decision between the two, you try to fall on the side of liberty, and But anyway. Moving on, another repercussion, more than 200 Seattle police officers face firing over the stab mandate. In Seattle, Washington, a city already ravaged by the defund the police movement, could lose at least 200 more officers over the city's Chinese coronavirus vaccine mandate.
China is asshole!
The officers face termination because they either have not received the jab or refuse to hand over their private medical data, according to reports cited on Fox News Tuesday. The Jason Ranch show on the city's KTTH said the number represents about 20% of the department's deployable staff. The department and Mayor Jenny A. Durkin's office did not immediately respond Two after-hours emails from Fox News. The report states, according to KTTH, the Seattle Police Department has already lost approximately 300 officers since last year's push to defund the police. SPD is now staffed at record lows not seen since the 1980s. Quote, many times there is only about 70 officers patrolling the city on any given night. This has helped lead to a surge in violent crime, with the city on pace to break the 26-year high homicide rate set in 2020. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. So they broke that in 2020 after 20 years, and now it's going to break that again. With just over 1,000 deployable officers, the city is about 300 to 500 officers shy of where they'd hoped to be. It continued, and this some of these officers saying, "F you, if this is your requirement, then you're going to be 200 more officers." It's going to be interesting. If people are fighting this in certain places, you got to wonder if that's going to make some of these cities and even businesses change their policies. I know a lot of the healthcare workers here in Minnesota, they're requiring them, and a lot of them are pushing back saying, we'll just find another job. I don't know if healthcare can afford to lose people. I don't care if police departments like Seattle can afford to lose more police officers, especially, already down 300 officers. It's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out. Good morning, Richo. How you doing? Or good afternoon, I should say. Or no, it's mornings for you now. By now. Good morning, PDawgKnight. Communist Australia sending help. Well, thank goodness, because people are trying to escape. Another one here, interesting. This masked Nazi professor whines about emotional hellscape of unmasked students. This is I don't know if it's humorous or if it's sad. The mask wars rage on and on. And they're more ridiculous than ever before. The mainstream media is now doing its 19 panic porn messaging for two reasons. The first, and original, is that the American left is hoping to screw up another election or two by using the pandemic to chuck any laws dealing with election integrity out the window. The second reason is new. Biden and his media mouthpieces are desperate to distract from the Afghanistan failure. Fact check, true. That's how we end up with 1,000-word articles like this one from the New York Times, which I will also link to the actual article if I can. There we go. I'll have the article here. Just a second here. If you want to read it, I'll have an archived version, which I'm sure will pop up quickly. Let's see here. Yes, it was archived. So I'll put a copy of the New York Times article in the link below. Here's the catch line. Matthew Bodie, an associate professor of rhetoric and composition, sent out a raw emotional appeal to his students at the University of North Georgia just before classes began. The stupid 19 Delta variant was rampaging through the state, filling up hospital beds. He would teach class at the equivalent of full body armor, vaccinated and masked. So he was stunned in late August when more than 2/3 of the first-year students in his writing class did not take the hint and showed up unmasked. I bet they're unclean too. It was impossible to tell who was stabbed or who was not. It isn't a visual hellscape like hospitals. It's more like an emotional hellscape, Dr. Brody said. Oh, the poor dear. Just to gin up the drama, the Times titled this feeling journal entry, "The Masked Professor versus the Unmasked Students." It's also overwrought that these hyperbole-laden articles begin to read like a therapist's notes after a while. I tried not to dismiss large swaths of the American public as crazy, but they make it almost impossible now. And then the COVID panic porn peddlers are mentally unwell. Yeah, they are. I'm just going to leave the article up there and you can read the rest of this. I realize I'm out of time here. So here's the New York Times article in the archive version, and then we'll finish up with this. Mass resistance arises as Washington makes it nearly impossible to get vaccine exemptions. Washington State Governor Jay Inslee does not want to grant any religious exemptions for his vaccine mandate, and his office isn't afraid to hide it. The rules appear so extreme that affected staff are unlikely to receive a religious exemption if a doctor or nurse has ever given them ibuprofen. Inslee ordered all state employees, healthcare workers, including firefighters, and both public and private school staff to be fully stabbed against the 19 by October 18th, regardless of age, risk factor, or previous stupid 19 diagnosis. If they are not stabbed by the deadline, Inslee vows to fire them. What's worse, Washingtonians would not likely be eligible for unemployment benefits if fired for not getting the stab. The only ways out of the mandate are via medical or religious exemptions. Inslee's staff knew there would be resistance, and his staff grew concerned that employees would feign religious objections to be exempt. While a medical exemption would require a doctor's sign-off, religious exemptions were more challenging to control, so they concocted a plan. And they had a leaked email sent from Catherine Leathers, general counsel for the office of the governor. On August 3rd, Leathers and staff representing the governor and the attorney general discussed the vaccine mandate. Quote, exemptions for medical for sure, and religious if we have to. If yes, as narrow as possible, Leathers wrote, calling the resulting religious exemption narrow is an understatement. It is so narrow that it appears to disqualify almost anyone who would apply. While each department uses its own forms, there is a common question popping up. Staff are asked whether you agree that you have never received a stab or a medicine from a healthcare provider as an adult. By this definition, if a doctor or nurse gave you an ointment for a burn you got in the kitchen or an antacid for a stomach ache, you would have to answer the negative. If that doesn't automatically disqualify you, agencies ask you to explain your religious convictions further in a supplemental form. The Washington Departments of Labor and Health, for example, ask employees how long have they held their religious beliefs and to explain why the 19 stab is problematic, but not other vaccines they may have received. The implication that taking allergy medicine or sleeping pills somehow conflicts with one's religious objection to a stab that uses aborted fetal cells is bizarre. Also, of course, plenty of people have religious objections to specific medicines and stabs or even medical procedures. Employees desiring an exemption also don't have much time to be approved. They must be stabbed by October 18th. That means the latest they could get their first dose of Moderna is September 6th, Pfizer by September 13th, and Johnson & Johnson by October 4th. The appeals process, if an employee is denied, which would be governed by various union rules, is unlikely to be finished by the deadline. Some employees have said their departments haven't even presented their exemption forms yet. So anyway, they're making it impossible for you to get an exemption in Washington, and I think they're going to lose employees in the state of Washington also. All right. Unfortunately, I got to call it, even though I have a couple more articles, but I'm going to skip them because it's time for me to go, people. But hey, thank you so much for joining me today. And I know we had a lively chat. I wish I'd have been in it a little more, but I appreciate you all being here. If you have not hit the like button so far, hit that right now while I'm talking. Also, don't forget you can share the stream before, during, after any stream. Also, thank you for the sponsors today, in particular, the Jimmy from Philly, Black Hebrew Israelite, Renee Mayette. You are all golden. Thank you so much. And also all of you in the chat and watching on replay, thank you for participating. If you're watching a replay, throw a comment in the comment section so I know you were here. That is my ending spiel, and it is time for me to go. So thanks, everybody. I will be here tomorrow and Friday. Tomorrow, I think it's later in the afternoon. I'll put a little schedule or something up somewhere and let you know when I'm going to be here tomorrow and Friday. Reminder, on Tuesday, I will not be doing a show, but we'll be, we might, who knows if we're going to talk while we're driving the road. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that's it for today, people. Time for me to go. My name is PDawgKnight. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to those who support this channel, they share our videos on social media, and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.
Only I can own you.
That's right.
Thank you. Or excuse me, Black Hebrew Israelite. Thank you. Bye, guys.